welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. Today I'm joined by my good friend and host of the Dadcast podcast, Nick Einstman.
Dave, thank you for having me on the show. It's
Yeah.
a long-time listener, first-time caller.
I know every time we release a new episode, I feel like you're like, I need in on this.
Yeah, because I live down the street.
Well, I know, but also I was hesitant to have you on because unlike the other two guests I've had, you are like a cryptid person. Like, you know cryptids and aliens probably more than anyone I know, minus like Luke.
Yeah, I think that's... No, Mike Norton knows his fair amount.
He does, but I think he's more like folklore.
He knows the Appalachians like the back of... I don't think he's ever been there, but he knows them like the back of his hand.
Yeah, no. So that's why I was hesitant to have you on, because I feel like I would try to tell you a story and you're like, oh yeah, no, I know what happens next. And then just kind of like...
Just kind of run off on a ramble.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you on. Hopefully I found something that you don't know.
I'm excited.
We talked earlier before you came on, and you were trying to guess. I gave you some hints.
You gave me some hints, and like, I'll be honest, as you were giving me hints, I was like looking. I have this book called Cryptozoology A through Z.
Yeah.
And I literally I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna wait. I don't really know.
So
just kind of roll.
Wait, is that book A through Z like names or like states?
So like at the end, or at the glossary, like it'll go by like states.
Oh.
So I went through when you said Leonard Skinner, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let it rock and roll. I'm gonna get spooked, get kooked, and
Get spooked and kooked. Well, this story is not so much a cryptid, more so alien, which I know that you're probably a bigger aliens guy than cryptid guy.
in Alabama.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Fuck.
It's fine.
Did you just like see like the sheer like disappointment in my face for not knowing what it was?
You know, I'm very disappointed in you for being a card-carrying member or ex-card-carrying member of MUFON.
Ex-card carrying member of
that
MUFON.
I gave you all these hints like Alabama. I gave you something else I can't remember. And you
Alabama, you said a single entity.
Single.
Just
the one.
Singular.
Just uno.
Dose? Not dose?
No, just the one.
No trace?
Not even a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about the Falkville Metal Man.
Son of a bitch!
So I take it you're kind of familiar.
I've heard stories. Every time I've heard them, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'll just like go read something else.
So like I said, like I told you, the Falkville Metal Man, or the Metal Man of Alabama, which is way easier to say, so I'm probably going to continue with that.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, it's something I feel like everyone has heard of, but like no one knows the actual story. So I guess if we're going to dive right in, we should probably talk about Falkville, Alabama in general. It's a very small town. Like,
well, I mean, if it's named Falkville, like how many people
live there?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked. So Falkville is a very small town located in Morgan County, Alabama. And by small, like I said, I mean like fucking tiny. According to the 2020 census, the population sits just over 1,000 at like 1197. There's only 260 families that live in that town total.
So 11,000 people.
Yeah, technically 1,200, I guess, if you want to round up a bit.
1,200.
But that's not to say the town isn't with some, fun tourist attractions.
Do they have a Waffle House?
No, but according to triphobo.com.
Well, first off, great name. I will only be using triphobo.com for any travel I do going forward.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get them to sponsor the show.
It's a great sponsor.
It's great. But according to the top 5 rated things to visit, if you ever decide to take a trip down to Falkville, it includes 2 pretty nice parks. There's one that has like a nice waterfall, 2 different churches.
Oh, okay.
And then the city clerk's office.
So in the 2 different churches that are in Falkville, Alabama, I'm assuming that one of them is Baptist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And the other one's either, what's that thing my mother is? Episcotarian? Something.
I think it was Methodist.
Methodist?
I think it was Methodist.
Or maybe even the Catholic's not really down there.
No, that's no.
They don't got the Saints down
I'm
there.
gonna assume it's one of those churches that like they have like the snakes and they drink
I
arsenic.
was literally going
It's
to
one
ask you
of-
that. Yeah.
That's what I don't know.
Snake Church?
Snake Church.
Speaking of Cocaine Bear, great movie. Gotta go see it.
Yeah, I heard I had good reviews.
Fantastic.
All right. But yeah, so 2 parks, 2 churches, city clerk's office.
I feel like shit goes down in that city's church's office. Hold on, I'm gonna mute this right here.
Yeah, so it's real riveting. But in my opinion, Nicholas Einstman,
David,
the real reason anyone would want to go to Falkville is to catch a glimpse of the Metal Man.
Well, give me the rundown on this Metal Man.
You want to know the rundown?
Is he magnetized? Can I throw a magnet on him?
It doesn't.
Hey.
It doesn't go that deep into. I don't think they tried to pelt.
No, I just feel like there's got to be one person in Folkville that's like obsessed with metal detectors. Like we all know that guy, right? Like we all know that guy.
He's probably in one of the 2 parks right now,
Looking for the Folkville Metal Man.
All right. So the story goes that on the evening of October 17th in 1973, when Falkville was an even smaller town, the population then was, I think, less than 1,000, like 987. The newly hired sheriff, Jeff Greenhaw, best name.
I feel like you got to have a good name to be a sheriff.
I could not say it. I couldn't read it without going, Greenhaw.
Greenhaw.
So Greenhaw was only 26 at the time. He was off duty, settling in for the night with his wife when dispatch received a frantic phone call from an anonymous woman around 10 p.m. The woman was hysteric, claiming she just saw a UFO land just outside of town in a field owned by Mr. Bobby Summerford.
These are some great names.
Every story has had great names so far.
I agree.
It's definitely like the highlight of the show.
It's the names.
Yeah. So upon receiving the call, Sheriff Jeff hopped up, grabbed his keys, wallet, gun, probably a beer or 2 for the road.
You got to have the road sodas.
Yeah.
The barley pops for the road are just, you know, we've all done it. It's fine.
Yeah, so he grabbed all that, and then he grabbed his trusty Polaroid camera, because if you're going to be responding to a UFO crash, you need 2 things: a solid buzz and a camera.
Oh, I could just tell you from some past experiences. I'd leave my little house in Dover. I would rip a J on the way down to going wherever I needed to, and I would ask the introductory MUFON questions.
Yeah.
Pending one question, I had to wait about 48 hours, and then I'd go back, and then I'd ask them again. I'm sure you know what question that is based off of everyone that Henry talks about in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. But I would always be not sober.
No, you gotta catch a good buzz. You gotta be feeling good.
Exactly.
You gotta go into an open mind.
You gotta be open.
Exactly.
You gotta be open to it.
And when are you more honest and open than when you're half in the bag?
Honestly, I can't think of a better time.
So hopping in his truck and radioing in that he's en route, Greenhaw books it down to the field where the alleged UFO has landed or crashed. Every source is one or the other. Either way, this thing's on the ground. It's on the ground. I mean, what is crashing but just like a hard landing?
Yeah, exactly. It's a crash landing.
I don't know. Yeah, fair. So when he arrived, he patrolled the area for a bit, but didn't really find anything out of the ordinary. There was no wreckage or any indication that something had landed or crashed in Summerford's field. Also, no mention of Summerford ever in the story. Like, I don't think
where is he when this is happening?
It's the same thing as with the Flatwoods Monster. Like, it crash landed on a farmer's land. That farmer
nowhere to be seen.
No, not even a little bit. But
I feel like if something landed in my field, it's where I make my money, right?
Well, this
I'd be out there
this
with
is
a
just a
shotgun.
field. You can own a field.
Yeah, but you got cows that are going out there. God forbid your cow eats some radioactive oil.
True, but also I don't know if there was cows. We can't speculate. It's not for us to.
So what is he farming? He's farming moss.
It's not a farm. It just said field.
Oh, okay.
All right, but not finding anything unusual.
Just assuming he's a farmer.
He gets back in his truck. He does a couple laps around the perimeter to make sure he didn't miss anything. Into what I assume is to finish the last of his road beers. I mean, you gotta. But like I said, he couldn't find anything in the field since it was pitch black, so he decided to turn down a dirt gravel road for one last pass before heading home. After getting only about 300 feet down the road, he sees what appears to be a man standing off to the road about 75 feet away or so. So this is where it gets silly, kind of. Thinking it's somebody in need of assistance, Greenhaw gets out of his truck and approaches what he thinks is a person. He shouts out to the guy, but gets no response. So he decides to get a little closer, and when he gets to about like 15 feet away, that's when he notices. This is when he notices something's a little off.
Oh, at 15 feet.
Yeah, 15 feet. So
he's not magnetized, is what you're saying.
he wasn't drawn to him.
Okay.
Okay. The entity was wearing what appeared to be a full-bodied silver metallic suit that he said resembled like thick aluminum, and he was quoted as saying, oh, "My dog is whining at the door." He was quoted as saying, "It looked like his head and neck were kind of made together. He was real bright, something like rubbing mercury on nickel, but just as smooth
Who
as
does
glass."
that?
I don't know,
Is that like a thing people did back in the day?
probably.
Let me get some mercury. I'm going to rub it on this here nickel.
Yeah, you just snap open a thermometer. But he said it was like I
Go
said,
crazy that way.
smooth as glass. Different angles give different lighting. When I saw him standing in the middle of the road, I immediately stopped the car and asked if he was a foreigner, but no sound came out of it. What are you from Sweden?
Oh my god!
Never seen anyone dressed like
it's
that.
Like me in that Uber ride when we were first looking at Phillies. So you from around here?
You from around here?
Very foreign Uber driver. Nick Einstman hammered at the back of an Uber. So you from Philly originally?
Yeah, it was kind of like
Is
that. Yeah, but
Just the metal man.
are you a foreigner?
What are you, a foreigner?
But yeah, so
Great way to ask that question.
Yeah.
Just like no better way to surely piss someone off. You a foreigner?
yeah, it was wild. I mean, it is the South, so
It's true.
they don't take too kindly to them folk down there.
You'd think they'd learn.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But anyways, he went on to also note that the being had an antenna sticking out of the top of its head and moved in herky-jerky type motions.
Can you exhibit some of the herky jerky?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
You can't see this. Nick, describe what I'm doing.
so it's almost like a drunk dad at a wedding trying to do the robot, but there's no legs being moved. It's just Dave's elbows just kind of going up and down.
Well, we are sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, so I
you can
can't.
still get the little legs going. There we go. All right, so now it just looks like he's running in place.
But
Some
yeah, so-
herky jerky movements.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna show you a picture of this guy, and I want you to
To describe.
yeah,
Give you a
it's
rundown?
been like a running theme on the show that I just show whoever I'm talking to. So, actually, you know, I'm gonna hold off on sending it to you.
You're gonna hold off on it.
Yeah. So, so to get back to the story.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Now realizing that this wasn't just some lost Swede and probably something a little more terrifying. You grabbed
Some
it-
lost Swede. Just a guy in a ski suit, just like, oh, I'm from Sweden, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought this was the
I thought
Alps.
these were the Alps. What is the trail?
So now realizing it's probably something a little more terrifying, he grabbed his camera and snapped 4 photos.
Oh, so he did get photos of it.
Yeah, the first being just pretty much black photo with like a glint of silver in it. The other 3, however, show a very clear what appears to be a humanoid figure wearing a full-body metallic silver suit. Kind of like the ones like volcanologists wear
Okay.
when they're like
Going in the volcano.
kicking around a volcano. So
It's a fascinating field.
yeah, so out of the 4, this is probably the most like clear one, and it's fucking wild, dude. So
There's no way that this is real. There's no way that someone saw this, right, and didn't immediately go, fucking kids.
yeah, dude, right?
Like, that is clearly it's house insulation.
Yeah.
It's literally like, and I'm not one to like, you know,
Oh,
shit on cryptids,
very
especially
very,
aliens.
very
I'm
open-minded.
very open to all this. You look at my book. It's probably why I keep getting left by all these women. Is the amount of like alien books and like cryptid books on my bookshelves. But that is
just screaming about UFOs.
yeah.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. The
We
actual
will-
incident was important to
We
us.
will them into existence.
This is this is literally someone with house insulation wrapped around them.
Yeah, it's like a metallic beekeeper suit.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But so immediately after the last photo was taken, the being took off into the field, and I mean fucking hoofing it, dude. So reacting fast, Greenhaw jumped in his truck, took off into the field after this, what I wrote down as a pint-sized iron giant.
So my question is this, and again, this is more so like not me not being open to these things, but me being like a fairly avid hunter and a pretty open 2A guy. Why not shoot it?
Wait, hunter like for animals or like hunter like squatching?
I'm going to say for animals, but
Colin
like
maybe.
a little bit of both.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right.
Like, shoot it.
Well, it's made out of metal. If it ricochets off.
I'm telling you. You get the thing in the calf, it's going down. Just one to the solid back of the calf. Like,
It's made out of metal, though.
It's made out of insulation.
We don't know that.
He could have shot it, and if he ricocheted, it ricocheted. It's not like it's going to come directly back. The bullet's not going to flip and go, haha, joke's on you, Summer Hall. Whatever the fuck your name is.
What you call him?
Summer Hall.
You mixed both the names
okay,
up. All right. But like I said, he took off into the field, so reacting fast, Greenhaw jumped in his truck, took off into the field after him. He was only able to get his truck up to about like 35, 40 miles an hour because he's driving through a fucking field. He wasn't able to accelerate to a speed anywhere close to what the Metal Man was doing. So
let me get this straight. This thing is made out of metal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's made out of metal.
Yeah.
And it's hauling ass at minimum like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's a pretty agile metal.
Well, I mean, you ever seen a bullet train? And I don't mean the Brad Pitt movie.
It was a great movie.
It was so good.
I might watch that later.
It was fun. It was a good movie.
Great movie.
Like Greenhaw later said that, quote, he ran in a bizarre Greenhaw. But he said, quote, he ran in a bizarre way, seemed to have springs in the feet for propulsion, could cover 3 meters in every way. He was running faster than any human I ever saw.
You know, I got to say, for someone from the South, the fact that he's using the term meters instead of like feet, it's pretty well-educated man.
Well, I mean, I feel like cop speak is always like, you know what I mean? They always try to sound smarter than what they actually are.
That's true.
Like, I infiltrated the perpetrator's residence, and then, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just saying, I walked into his home.
I walked into this guy's house, and I said, hands on the ground!
And then I just started blasting.
And anyway, I just started blasting.
Now, not long into this low-speed field pursuit, Greenhaw lost control of his truck, landing him in a ditch, where he watched the Metal Man slip into the darkness, never to be seen again, leaving Greenhaw with nothing but haunting memories and a couple of low-quality
What's he
photos.
haunted by? The fact that, like, he didn't think to drive faster, or, I don't know, whip out his revolver and start blasting?
Oh, we're going to get into why this haunted him.
Oh, no.
So, interestingly enough, just a few days prior to this, in October, in, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Pascagoula, Mississippi, 2 men, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, were fishing off of a dock when they claimed they were abducted by what some may have been like the same metallic aliens. Their description of them are very similar to Greenhaw's in that they were almost robotic and metallic, but their story ends with them both doing interviews, lectures, and even one of them starting a production company that helps produce like UFO content and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately for Greenhaw, the aftermath of his encounter wasn't as fruitful, I guess you would say. He was met with obvious skepticism and some intense...
Yeah, because you probably went to the bar immediately afterwards, and they were like, Greenhaw, you fucking crazy. Ever since Cheryl left you, you've been coming out with bullshit.
Well, so...
Don't tell me his wife left him because of this.
Not long after he
God
left the force, some say voluntarily, while others say he was fired, or the city council basically voted him out. His marriage soon fell apart, and then to add even more depressing icing onto this shit cake, his house burnt down.
And for that, we raised our Miller lattes to Sheriff Greenhaw. Fuck the police, but this guy, he saw an alien.
He was 26 years old, dude.
26? He shouldn't be a sheriff at 26
No, right?
years old. That is a lot of
But
responsibility.
also, there's 900 people
You know
in
what I
the
was
town.
doing
Like,
at 26?
how hard is...
You know what I was doing at 26?
Oh, probably cocaine with me.
I'm neither going to confirm or deny that. But I was just drinking and like singing MCR songs at Sonny's Karaoke on Thursdays.
Yeah, you do that.
I do that now.
Now with me still.
Exactly.
In the house that we're in.
I should not be a sheriff.
No.
You know, I did run for sheriff though.
Did you really?
I swear to God.
I don't buy that.
Oh no, ask Jack. I got like 50 votes in the town of Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Damn it.
You don't know what my campaign was? Einstman for sheriff.
Abolish the police.
Small town, big heart.
Small town, big heart. That's
Small
good.
Town, big heart.
That's good. It's not really that small of a town.
Plymouth, New Hampshire?
I mean, it is.
It's super small.
I don't remember the time that they burnt that city down because of Pumpkin Fest.
No, that was Keene.
Oh, it was Keene. What was that? There's no difference to me.
There's 100% difference. Keene are full of fucking animals.
It's all the same. Anyways, no, obviously you saw the photo that
Oh, I saw it. I kind of can't get it out of my head.
So
Can
some
you
people,
send me that? 'Cause I want to make up the background of my phone.
yeah, I definitely will.
Thank
So
you.
some people obviously are saying it's a hoax.
Right.
Don't see why.
Oh, I can never see why.
It all seems super credible.
Oh, it's very legit.
Yeah.
One of the most legit cryptid alien sightings, probably since the Betty and Barney Hill case.
Yeah, I mean,
100%. 100 p.
But we don't know for sure.
We'll never know.
Yeah, but whether it was a hoax or not, it's obviously up for debate. It seems like if it was like a pretty shitty gamble on Greenhaw's part, since he in literally no way profited from it and clearly lost more than he gained.
I mean, my question is how did those other two buckos, I can't remember, I'm terrible with names.
It's fine.
How did they turned it into like
A thing. Yeah.
Why not combine forces? Like you have the law on one side.
Yeah.
Like think about it this way. Even if there's only like 900 people in Falkville, or whatever it is, 1,200 people.
Well, back then it was like 980.
Okay, so 980.
Yeah.
Right. You have 980 people who put their faith in this here 26-year-old, which again speaks volumes about the fine folk of Falkville, Alabama. Right. So this is a man who's like already on a high pedestal, and you have these other two kids who like were just fishing.
So the other two dudes, one was like 46, one was like 17. I don't
Why
know if
not
they were
just,
friends
like-
or whatever, but that's weird.
It could have been a dad and a son.
Could have been.
Yeah, why not just take those three and be like, we all saw the same thing? You know, unite. That's what's lacking in the UFO community. There's no unity between abductees and encounterers.
Maybe I don't know. This like
Some baby back bullshit is what it is.
But also, it was 6 days. Like the two dudes being abducted, that was 6 days before his encounter.
And I'm sure they went to the police, which would have been Green Hole.
It was different state.
Oh, completely different state.
Yeah. So the
misheard
the
that.
two dudes were in Mississippi. He's in Alabama.
I think if it's the same state, to be
Yeah,
honest. with you.
might as well
Not
be.
much difference.
They all have tornadoes and hurricanes.
There's
I s-
banjos in both.
Yeah. Although Mississippi, weird enough, some of the best sushi I ever had was in Mississippi.
That's disgusting.
No, dude,
It
it
is a
was-
landlocked state.
no, they got the river.
That's not. That's literally. I'm gonna quote you here. Why would you ever order seafood
from a landlocked state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Mississippi's not.
Do you remember that
landlocked.
time that your wife and I ate a bunch of oysters and clams at
think
Johnny Brenda's?
She got violently sick.
I didn't.
Not you, but
I mean, I got
Mississippi's not
violent sick for
landlocked,
other
is it?
reasons, but yeah, I think it is.
no, dude. It's right on the Gulf of Mexico.
Is it?
Idiot. But it is one state over from Alabama.
The more you know.
So, but I'm starting to think that maybe I don't think he would have heard of it. So it's not like he would have been like piggybacking off of what they said
No.
to make a hoax.
But at the same
it had
time,
to have
like-
been so that. But he probably didn't hear about their encounter until like way
What
later.
year was this again?
73.
73. So I mean, Nightcap would have been created,
Mm-hmm.
right? MUFON obviously wasn't, but Nightcap definitely was, because this is, I want to say it's way after the Travis, either way after or right, maybe even right before the Travis Walton experience, also known as Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
So like, there's people that know that this shit's going on. It's way after the Betty and Barney Hill, obviously, because that was late 50s, early 60s, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely, at some point, all these connections of like, oh, well, this guy saw a Metal Man. Well, like these two, a groomer and his groomee also saw this Metal Man about 6 days before. We should probably link these three up, but probably keep the 46-year-old away from the 26-year-old
And the 17-year-old. But those two were actually abducted, and they said that they were.
I want to hear their
experimenting on-
story.
Well, I don't know it.
Is there anything?
Maybe. Oh no, there is. I just didn't write an episode for it.
It's poor journalism.
I'm not a journalist. I'm a fucking asshole who's getting drunk with my buddy in a 10 by 10 room, sitting on the floor doing a
love it.
podcast.
Love every minute of it.
It's not bad. But like I said, hoax or not, the Metal Man will stay shrouded in mystery and continue to be just another like weird one-off sighting of something unknown. So that's basically the theme of the show. I realized we haven't done like any like reoccurring cryptids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like these one-offs.
I agree. I think
The one-offs are like to me way more interesting than like a Bigfoot or
Let
like.
me ask you this, Dave. Let's give the people what they want to know. What are we talking about next week?
I don't know yet. Probably the Pensacola, Mississippi, whatever it's called, guys.
Pensacola's Metal Man. Metal Man Part 2. You've heard it here first on Cryptid Cocktail.
Yeah, we could do.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, no.
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, because that is,
I feel like there's some shit.
that is a weird story. I feel like I did read the story because I needed to know.
Well, can you give me like a 30-second recap?
Two dudes were fishing on a dock at night. One was aggressively older than the other one, and they got abducted and experimented on.
What experience were?
Dude, I don't know. We're not doing that now because it's not the episode.
We got time.
We don't. We're coming up on a half hour. That's how long the episodes are. Maybe we'll do a little bonus episode.
You're telling me you can't do this in a minute and a half?
Would people like to hear a bonus episode?
I think, being that I've listened to every episode, and I text you about every episode.
You say every like I have a million. There's 4.
I know, I love them.
This is 5.
I've listened to them like 2 times each.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'm very proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, we're gonna sign off, and then maybe we'll dick around, and then I do have some things that we can do for a little bonus episode. I think we'll do that. Thanks for listening, everyone. I appreciate it. If you get a chance, please leave us a rating review on iTunes. Rate us on Spotify. Also on Spotify. I don't know if anyone's noticed this. There's if you click on the episode and you listen to it, it has like a little question thing. Like, what did you think of the episode? You can leave comments on the
I need to do
actual
that for the Dadcast.
on the actual episode. So, let us know what you think, and I guess we'll talk to you later. Thank you, Nick, for being on. You got a podcast. Why don't you want to plug it real quick before we sign off?
I'll give it a plug. So my good friend and I, Mike Caruso, used to work on a radio station together, and we used to call each other Dad. It's like a thing that we do with all of our friends. So we started a podcast called the Dadcast, where Mike and I just get drunk, and we put about 10 topics on the wheel each, or on a spinning wheel each. We land on a topic, we figure out who it's going to, and then we just kind of ramble about random topics.
I love that.
Next episode's going to be about
I want to be part of that.
Do you want to be?
I do want to be part of that.
I'll be a part of this. You want to be a part of that?
I want to be part of that.
Not
like a permanent thing,
No,
but like,
absolutely.
yeah. Sounds like it'd be fun.
We're doing World War II ghost stories next week.
Like,
that's the theme.
Do we have to make them up?
No. I literally spent like 3 hours in bed today, like just watching YouTube videos about World War II. And
you sound like me trying to do research for this show.
Yeah,
you know what I found out? Reading is a fucking nightmare.
I hate it.
Yeah. Podcasts in YouTube are where I get all my information from, and it's probably not the best source.
I mean, listen, you can come over to the house anytime. You want to take some books out? I got a library.
I just said reading sucks.
I'll get some highlighters.
Oh, you get some highlights? Notes in the fucking, what are they called?
Oh, dude, you should see my fucking, the Exeter Incident book. I have...
Mike got me a book for Christmas. It's the Rendlesham Forest.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So I think I might read that and actually do like a serious...
Yeah, no, it's like a really good... It's a really cool event.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'll you know what? Read that and I'll give you Exeter. I think you'd like Exeter. Exeter, New Hampshire, for those of you who don't know what I'm referring to.
Exeter.
That's why they had the Exeter UFO.
Dude, all right, so really quick before we sign off, we have like...
a minute.
Yeah. Anytime we say a city or a town that's you probably think is in England, we're talking about New Hampshire and or Massachusetts. Just know. And also, if we're talking about a city that's named after a Far East country, it's probably in Maine.
Yeah.
Because China, all those are in Maine.
Portland, Egypt. There's an Egypt.
Yeah, it's all white people are bad at coming up with new names.
Yeah. Well, they steal things.
No.
Including people.
White people are honest, hardworking Americans.
We do things by the book here. I guarantee it. It's that fucking Men's Warehouse commercial, but like white colonialism.
All right. On that note, I guess we'll take a quick sign off, and then like I said, just leave us a rating review. Go check out Dadcast. It's pretty good. It's funny. I'm gonna be a part of that because I just decided now.
Yeah.
And so
we're recording later. If you wanna hop on, I'll send you the Riverside link.
Yeah. Or I can just come over and I can bring my good mixer with
Fantastic.
microphones and
I
stuff.
love that.
Get some good quality on that shit.
We can turn that guest room into a podcast room.
Yeah, I'm into it. All right. Peace, everyone. Thanks. Leave a rating and review.